Hey, what's up, guys? Kevin here from Phandroid.com. We're taking a look today at the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. More specifically, we're getting a look at the S Pen. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to use the included S Pen. So the S Pen, first things first, is located in a little slot at the lower right of the phone. You can pull it out just like this. You'll notice that the phone is set up to detect when you remove the S Pen. It'll launch, right now, Air Command by default. You can actually change this. We'll get into this a little bit later. But first, let's just go over how the S Pen really works with the phone. And that is pretty much just like your finger. It's a little capacitive stylus that you can use to swipe through your home screens. You can launch applications. You can even use the capacitive soft keys at the bottom to go back or launch your recent applications. So that is very nice. This is powered by inductive technology, which means the Note 4 itself is actually generating a magnetic field that is being picked up by the S Pen to not only power its functionality, but also allow it to do some cool things such as Air View, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Use its little included button on the S Pen to launch certain functions, and otherwise just make it a very advanced stylus with pressure sensitivity, great responsiveness. So it's really cool. You definitely don't want to lose it, and luckily Samsung has included a way to make sure you won't. So let's jump right now into S Pen settings. We're just going to launch the settings menu. We'll scroll down to the S Pen sub menu, and we can do all this with our S Pen again and take a look at what some of the general settings for the S Pen are. So a few of these we're going to hold off on because they're a little more feature rich, but some of the quick ones, pointer, that if you turn this on, you'll get a little pointer. You can see it here. When you hover the pen over the display, there'll be a pointer like a mouse cursor to show you where your pen is. You don't have to have it pen directly on the display. Direct pen input, this is going to create an option when you're in certain text fields in the operating system. It's going to show a little box with a T and a pen. That's going to let you directly input text by writing with the stylus. Pen detection, this will save some battery when you have the pen docked in the device. It's going to turn off detection. It's not going to always be searching for the pen. S Pen sound, you can turn on a sound on and off for when you take the S Pen out of the slot. You can turn on and off S Pen vibration feedback. You can alter what sound is played. You have a few options here. You have 3 different sounds, or you can turn it off again right there. You can also have the S Pen create a haptic feedback when you detach it as well. Now let's get back to these detachment options. We saw earlier that when we take the pen out, it will launch Air Command currently, so we'll put it back in and we can show that. When we pull this pen out, it's going to launch Air Command, right? So we can actually change this to either not launch anything. Maybe if you don't want to always have something popping open when you pull the pen out, you can also launch what's called Action Memo. So we'll show you this real quick. So this will be if you always want to have your pen handy to take a note in case you need to jot down a quick note. You can just pull out your S Pen and Action Memo will launch here. And this, you can just write down whatever you want to write down. And save it, store it, do whatever you want with it. So getting into some of these more advanced options, let's jump right into Air Command. Again, you can enable it here. Air Command as an option is going to allow you to access some quick functions that are useful with the S Pen. You access it by hovering your S Pen over your display anywhere in any app, and you press the button and it'll launch Air Command. So the 4 options we have here are Action Memo, Smart Select, Image Clip, and Screen Write, and they all have their own particular uses. Action Memo, again, we just saw this earlier. We'll jump right in again. Do not show me this again. You can do some pretty cool things with Action Memos. So say you want to write down, your friend told you to visit a real cool website called Phandroid.com, right? So you can write down Phandroid.com as a note, which is cool. You can actually even pin it to your home screen. You hold the pin, and then you can drop it wherever you want. We can open that note back up. The cool thing about Action Memo is it actually, as the name implies, has actions. If we press this button here, which is linked to action, it'll give us a list of options. We can call, we can put it in our contacts, we can send a message, email, we can go to the browser. So this is a website address, phandroid.com. We'll click on browser and see if this gets us. Not quite perfect because it probably didn't detect my handwriting, but it at least got us a Google search, got us right into phandroid.com. I can hop over there very easily, again, all using the S Pen. So let's jump right back into this note. So there's some other options here. Again, you can, so it doesn't always have to be a website address. If it's a phone number, you can send it to contacts, make a call, etc. You can get a location and go right to maps. The cool thing about this, you'll notice, is I didn't write this all on one line, so you don't have to have it perfectly written. You can kind of have it spaced out. You can put like a phone number over here, whatever you want to do. If you want to discard the note, you just click discard and we're done. So that's a look at Action Memo. Now if we go home again and we launch Air Command one more time, we can look at some of these other options. We've also got Smart Select. So Smart Select is going to do exactly what it says. Select an area of the screen with the S Pen to collect content. So we're in Smart Select mode. It's always going to select as a triangle or as a square, sorry. And now we're in here. We can collect more if we'd like to by pressing the collect button, and I can grab another item here. Again, just press the plus button and I can grab more with the selection, add that to my collection. If I want to check out my collection, I can open it up. I have options such as save to scrapbook. I can share via social media, and then there's some more options there as well. So that's Smart Select. The next thing we're going to look at is going to be Image Clip, which is kind of similar to Smart Select. It allows you to actually draw the shape that you want to see around whatever, and then it'll select that, and you can image clip that. If you don't want to use that, say you were trying to draw an actual circle with your image clip, so let's image clip again. If you wanted to draw an accurate circle, you're not the best at drawing circles, you have the option to actually transform it to a circle, a square. You can even snap to borders or transform the auto shape there, which is cool. Very similar to the other option for Smart Select. You can put in your scrapbook. Again, you can share. Once it's in the scrapbook here, we can open up the scrapbook here, collected content, and you do have options to annotate and do other things with this. So that's pretty nice. So back to Air Command. Once again, we'll launch it and we'll look at the final option, which I think is actually the coolest option, which is Screen Write. So we can hit Screen Write. It's going to take a screen cap automatically, launch us right into the ability to draw and doodle on this. We can change our pen around, make it thicker, put a different color, and take notes. So say this is useful. I mean, right now we're just doodling on the home screen, but you could take a picture from the internet of a web page and highlight and take notes on text. A bunch of things you can do with this. So that's a really cool feature, and also a quick tip for getting a quick screenshot too. If you're using your S Pen, you can just use that Screen Write and launch right into doodling, or just save it as a screenshot. All right, so now we're back in the settings menu to talk a little bit about AirView. So AirView here has a bunch of different options that you can actually go through. If you turn this on, it's best just to have all this stuff on because you'll get some cool features out of this, and they're kind of app specific in some cases. So we'll just give you a general demonstration of how this works in specific apps. It works in a few different places. One is in the browser again. So if we are at Phandroid, oh, that's not Phandroid. Go back to Phandroid.com, and you can look at the site. So the first thing you can do is, let's just jump into an article here. You can use the S Pen to scroll up and down, and this is using AirView as well. So to scroll up and down, you just put the pen towards the top of the page. You don't have to press it down, you just hover it there, and then you can scroll down as well. The next thing you can do, which is nice, is the ability to select text. So to select text, you just hold down the S Pen button, and you should be able to just drag it over text that you want to select. It's not working, so I don't know how to do that. There we go. And we can drag it over whatever text. We have further options. We can select all, copy, share, or even look up a word. So if I just wanted to look up one specific word, I could hold down my button, get a cursor here, extend it to get the word, and then hit dictionary, and it's going to look up that word directly, which is cool. I have to download my dictionary, so it's not going to work right now. But again, you can very easily share this to any of your social networks, or send an email or a message, whatever you want to do with it. So that's some things you can do with the S Pen in the browser. Now, the other cool area we can use the S Pen is actually the phone's gallery. So with the S Pen, we can make a few different cool things. We can get previews. You see here, this is a video, so we're previewing a video here. It's giving us options to share and delete. If we look at an actual image, it's going to give us options to immediately screen write. It's going to give us options to edit, share, and delete. We can also select multiple images at the same time using the S Pen. Just hold down the button again, and you can draw a selection box over your stuff. That's Air Command. You can see we can draw a selection box there, and it's going to select multiple items. We could actually go down to another spot in the list and add to our selection now by doing the same thing. Turn off Air Command. So it's a little tricky. You got to press the button kind of right before you put it down on the screen. But you see we added those selections to our other selections, and now we can do batch operations like delete, share, do whatever you want to do. So that's using the S Pen in the gallery. One last thing to look at is S Note, which is really where the S Pen really flourishes, because you have a lot of options in terms of drawing, and you can see we can flex our pressure sensitivity options. So you see we got a thin, get a little bit thicker, and that's just by applying a little bit of pressure. S Note, not only can you take notes, draw, doodle, whatever you want to do, it's got some cool features. One is the ability to use the camera to capture text, and then you would be able to use this text to annotate or do whatever you need to do. So let's see if we can get this to snap this little postcard. All right, so we snapped a picture of the postcard. It's going to take a few seconds to convert this. All right, and here we go. So this is actually going to have editable text here, or you could do other things with it as well. For instance, say you want to use a highlighter type thing, make it a little less opaque, and you can just go ahead and highlight over words here. You can add text, edit text here. So there's a lot of things you can do with this, and it'll actually convert the text, and it's kind of tedious, but you can get it to the point where you can completely edit up a document. But if you really want to do that, S Note might not be the best way to do it, but it's great if you need to take a picture of, say, a memo or a study sheet or a page from a book and write down some notes or highlight some things. So that's using S Note on the Galaxy Note 4 with the S Pen. We'll just discard that. We're going to go home. But that pretty much covers everything you need to know with the S Pen. There's a few other small things. The writing keyboard is nice. We'll see if we can access the writing keyboard. The writing keyboard, so you hit this button right here, right? And now we can just type whatever we want. I can write, let's just write, let me delete that. I can write Android. It got it, Android, and then I say good. Sounds good. You can put space in, expand, change your language, or close. And once you close, it will either discard or save your changes. So I'm going to say cancel. And there you see, Android is now in my search bar after I use the writing keyboard. So if you'd rather use your pen to write, and if you can quickly just write whatever you want to search for, if you need to find out about one of my favorite artists, Neil Young, and you can see it's pretty quick, pretty smart, detects it. Just tap outside of the box to get back to your search field, and there we go. And this will work again in messaging as well as many other boxes. And actually, in messages, I don't know if any have any text messages stored here. But if I did, you would be able to hover and get a preview of messages, which is pretty cool. So that is a not so quick look at all the features of the S Pen, but I think we've covered them all. There's certainly a few more tricks to figure out on your own, and a few more that we're including in an article on Phandroid.com, so you be sure to check that out as well for even more. But happy S Pen using. Enjoy your Galaxy Note 4. Thanks for watching.